Is Netflix disappointing you again? I got you. So today we're gonna do a little bit, if you liked this, then you like that, but we're gonna do it with some winter classic movies and to some book recommendations. I love these videos because if I love one thing, I want to just read more of it or see more of it. Very much a creature of comfort, and I like the things that I like. So we're gonna talk about some winter/holiday movies and what books I might recommend if you're a fan of those. The first movie I'm going to be talking about is Crimson Peak, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is a horror gothic, and it is about this girl who, due to unforeseen circumstances, I don't want to say too much, I don't know what's a spoiler, but ends up being whisked away by this mysterious man to his manor on Crimson Peak, and essentially when she gets there, it is not what she's promised. It is a kind of decrepit, spooky, scary old manor in the middle of nowhere, and it is completely surrounded by snow, and it's very far away from everything. And what's worse is that his kind of evil sister is there too. So I love this movie so much. I think of it as a perfect winter movie because I like to watch something a little bit spookier in the winter. I mean, in all seasons, but also in the winter. And this is like the perfect gothic movie. And also, if you're a fan of just like costuming, great costume design. Okay, and so the book that I think goes along with this movie is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Now this is a book, another gothic literature. It's not gothic horror, but it is a gothic literary book where there is a woman who kind of grows up in this home where she doesn't really feel loved. She kind of carries that with her and later becomes a governess, and then she goes to live at this estate as a governess for this man who she kind of begins to develop some feelings for. However, there are some secrets that are within this manor, and again, it kind of has like this eerie, like dark setting to it, similar to Crimson Peak, and in the same sense that she's kind of being whisked away from the life that she knew previously and is secluded in this home with this man and maybe somebody else. This is a classic, obviously, for a reason. It is such a good one. It was probably one of the first classics I read on my own that I just really enjoyed, and it definitely gave me a taste for gothic literature. Both have the like wintry tone and atmosphere to it, a little bit eerie and a little bit dark, which is my favorite kind of winter read or watch. Next one I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a cheat because although it is a movie that I have seen, and I'll put it here, it is also the famous ballet, The Nutcracker. I just feel like this is quintessential winter, like fantastical, being whisked away to a snowy wonderland. I just love it. It is so I love the magic of it. This book is on my TBR this winter, and it is the perfect match for somebody who's looking for something similar to The Nutcracker. And that book is called Midnight in Everwood, and this is essentially like a true retelling. It is about a dancer, a ballet dancer, who essentially kind of has to give up dance to become part of like high society, and she one day meets this character who builds her a ballet set where she can dance on for, I think, like the last time, I think is what the description said. But when she's dancing on it and the clock strikes midnight, she gets transported away into this snowy magical land. And so it sounds like it'll be very true to the source material retelling, and I'm really excited to read it this winter. Okay, and then the next movie I have to talk about is Elf, which I don't think needs any description. I feel like everyone has seen it. It's a Christmas classic feel-good movie. And then the book that I have to recommend is, bear with me, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but hear me out. Okay, so the book recommendation is Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. This is a little bit of a older, like YA romance. I think it came out in like 2010 maybe. But it's really cute and sweet. It is about a girl, Lily, who leaves a red notebook at a bookstore, actually the Strand in New York City, which I'm sure some of you have definitely heard of. And then Dash comes around and picks up the notebook and he fulfills some of the dares. And it is just a really cute, again, feel good YA romance. And what really I think connects the two is that they are running around New York City doing all these fun, silly, like little Christmas related dares, and it just reminds me a lot of in Elf when they're kind of running around the city like snowball fight and going to Macy's and doing all the like Christmas decor and everything like that. I feel like just the New York City vibes along with like the wintry Christmas vibes, and again just having that like overall cute and sweet romance and just feel good story is the perfect match. So if you like The Elf, I would highly recommend this one. Okay, and the next movie I will recommend is It's a Wonderful Life. I love this movie. It is such a sweet, like, again, another feel-good Christmas movie. I'm not even someone who watches a lot of old movies, but this is, I have to watch this around Christmas. It's such a cute one. I feel like it always makes me cry. The book that I have to recommend is, okay, this is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is in French. No, I do not speak French, but there's just kind of a funny story about this, and my aunt gave it to me, and that's why it's in French. She does not speak French either. That's not the point. Anyways, I kind of just wanted to show you because I think this edition is gorgeous, like with the stars on the side. And then, oh, wait, actually, I forgot that this inside is like so pretty. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully the glare is not killing it. And while we're at it, let me just check the hardcover, see if there's anything. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Like, hello. That's gorgeous. Hopefully you can see that. Anyways, so for those who have seen the movie and maybe have read this book, you might be like, what is the connection here? And I will say this might be another small stretch, but hear me out. So, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about a girl who, to escape her circumstances in the time that she lives in, makes a deal with a devil. And the deal is that she can have freedom, but everybody knows that when you make a deal with the devil, there's always some kind of catch. And so she has her freedom, but essentially she becomes invisible in the sense that everyone who meets her does not remember her as soon as they can't see her. So if they leave the room and she comes back, it'll be like they had never met her at all and don't have any memories of her. So she is just walking through life invisible, and on top of it, she is essentially immortal, it seems, or at least like she doesn't die from old age. And so she just kind of goes through life. And however, there's a few instances throughout history that she kind of has an effect. She kind of leaves a little bit of a mark behind, even if she doesn't leave her whole persona, you know, with these people. Like, artists write songs about her and make paintings. And so there's still an impact, even if she is not technically remembered. And I'm going to relate this to It's a Wonderful Life, because where we see that, you know, our main character, if he had never been born, if you know, the circumstances where he was put in throughout his life had never happened, the world would be an entirely different place. And it would be greatly affected by one person's absence. And I think it just, both examples kind of show how kind of the butterfly effect, and how even the most little things and people who don't live these grand lives can have an effect on everybody. So I think that's kind of a sweet connection. I wouldn't say this is necessarily a winter book, but it is pretty nice and like easy fantasy to read, which I think is always nice to read in the winter. The last movie I have is The Hateful Eight, which is a movie about 8 strangers who get essentially stranded and locked in this cabin together and cannot leave because there is a crazy snowstorm outside, and things go down. And so the book that I would like to recommend, I actually have 2. Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, which is about a group of 10 strangers who get invited to an island. They don't know why, they don't know by who, and there's a mystery afoot when they get there, and they all have to work together to kind of solve it. And also they're stranded because it is an island. This is obviously a classic. It's Agatha Christie, and I think it's a really good place to start. This is my first Agatha Christie, so yeah, I recommend, especially a winter thriller moment is always a good choice. The next one I have to recommend is Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk? Sorry, I'm not quite sure. But, sorry, also ignore the 20% off sticker. It will not come off. Whatever. It's really tragic. This, again, is, I'm going off the theme of strangers being essentially locked and isolated together. It is about a group of strangers who are invited to a writer's retreat. They all get there, they don't know each other, and they find out they're locked in and that their resources are dwindling. And this is a horror book, so it gets pretty crazy and kind of gory pretty fast. So I definitely recommend this if you like the kind of crazy action-y part of Hateful Eight. Okay, and that's all for my movie to book recommendations. I hope that if you really loved one of these movies, you pick up one of these books or vice versa and find something you also really enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.